Hello all and welcome back to my channel. My name is Pandey and thank you very much for watching my other videos. I am hoping that my videos are adding some values in your day-to-day Intune operation work. Please consider subscribing my channel. By subscribing, you will get access to new videos as soon as they are uploaded, and it's a great way to stay up to date with my content and support me at the same time. So today I'm going to talk about Windows Local Administrator Password Solution, also known as Windows LAPS. So Windows LAPS is a powerful tool that allows organization to better manage and protect their local administrator account password on the Windows devices. I will explain how to configure Windows LAPS in Azure Active Directory scenario and how to manage it. Now let's first see what is LAPS. So LAPS is a management of local account password on Windows devices. LAPS provide a solution to securely manage and retrieve the built-in local admin password. Windows Local Administrator Password Solution, also known as Windows LAPS, is a Windows feature that automatically manage and backs up the password of a local administrator account of your Azure Active Directory joint devices. With cloud version of LAPS, we can enable storing and rotation of local admin password for both Azure Active Directory as well as hybrid Azure Active Directory joint devices. So every Windows machine has a built-in local admin account that cannot be deleted and which has a full permission to the devices. By default, local administrator password on Windows devices are the same across all devices, which can be a security risk, and securing this account is an important step in securing the organization. Lab solves security risk problem by automatically generating unique password for each device and storing them securely in Azure Active Directory or hybrid Azure joint devices. Now let's see what are the prerequisites to implement Windows LAPS. So with respect to licensing requirement, we should have Intune subscription as well as the Azure Active Directory subscription. With respect to device addition and platform, device must run on one of the following version to support the Windows LAPS CSP. With respect to Windows 10 devices, version 22H2, 21H2 or 20H2 should have April 11, 2023 security update installed. And with respect to Windows 11 version 22H2 and 21H2, both the versions should have April 11, 2023 security update installed. Now let's see some of the key points. So Windows LAPS is a built-in Windows operating system version with April updates and later. There is no agent or MSI deployment of LAPS required. Devices that are workplace joined are not supported by Intune for LAPS. Intune LAP policy can be used to manage any local administrator account on a device. However, LAP supports only one account per device. When a policy does not specify any account name, Intune manages the default built-in administrator account regardless of its current name on the device. If two separate policies are assigned to a device that both specify a different account, a conflict occurs that must be resolved before the device account can be managed. The CSP based policy from Intune overrides all other source of LAPS policy, such as from GPO or a configuration from legacy Microsoft LAPS. Windows LAPS require the device to be in an enable state before the password rotation and backup operation can apply. When a device is deleted in Azure AD, the LAPS credentials that was tied to the device is lost and the password that is stored in Azure AD is lost. Global admin, cloud device admin, Intune service admin, helpdesk admin, security reader, security admin and global readers are the built-in roles are supported to view metadata about LAPS, including the device name, last password rotation and next password rotation. Intune policy for Windows LAPS is also supported for GCC high environment. Now let's see the step required to configure the Windows LAPS. So the very first step is to ensure that the built-in local admin account is in enable state. Else we have to deploy a policy via setting catalog to enable the admin account. Then we have to enable a Azure Active Directory labs via Azure Active Directory device settings. Then we have to create a Windows labs policy for Windows 10 in Intune, and we have to perform the testing. So before we begin, if you are new to my channel or yet not subscribed my channel, please consider subscribing my channel and turn on the notification so that you won't miss any of my videos. Now let's see how we can configure the Windows labs. So right now I am on my client PC, and first I will show you what is the current status of local user and group. For that I am going to run luser mgr.msc command, and I'm going to open the local user and group, and within users we can see that the administrator account is by default disabled. So very first step we have to do is to enable this administrator account. So there are many ways we can do that, but through Intune I am going to use the setting catalogs to enable this administrator account first, and I am going to rename this administrator account as per my choice. So to do this we have to go to the Intune console, and within Intune we have to go to the devices, and within devices we have to go to the Windows, and then we have to create a configuration profile. Here we have to create a profile, and we have to select the platform Windows 10 and later, and profile type should be setting catalog, and click create. Now here we have to provide the name of the policy, so I'm going to provide the enable administrative account, and then click next. Here we have to add the setting, so we have to search for local policy security options and search it. Within local policy security option we have to select the account enable administrator account status, and we have to select account rename administrator account, and then we have to enable the account enable administrator account status, and we can also change the name of the administrator account as per our choice. So I am going to configure the name labs, and then click on next, and then click on next, and then we can deploy to all devices, all users, or add a specific group. I'm going to add a specific group. I have already created a group called labs, and my test machine is a part of this labs group, and I'm going to click next and deploy this. Now the enable administrator account policy is created and deployed to the required devices. Now after some time we can see that the policy is applied on the device, and the account name under user is also changed to labs, and the account is also enabled. Now the next step is to enable the Azure AD local administrator password solution within the Azure portal. To do this we have to go to the Azure portal, and within Azure portal we have to go to the Azure Active Directory, and within Azure Active Directory we have to go to the devices, and under device settings, and we have to ensure that the under local administrator settings the enable Azure AD local administrator password solution lab should be configured as yes, and then we have to save it. Now next step is to configure the labs, and to do this we have to go to the Intune portal, and within Intune portal we have to go to the endpoint security, and within endpoint security under manage we have to go to the account protection, and we have to create a policy, and we have to select Windows 10 and later, and the profile type should be local admin password solution Windows labs, and then click on create. Now here we have to provide the name. I'm going to provide labs. Click on next. Now we have to configure the lab setting. Now the very first option is the backup directory, meaning that in which directory you want to save the password. We have two options. Either we can save the password in Azure AD only, or we can backup the password in Azure directory. For now I am going to select the backup the password to Azure AD. Now the second setting is the password age days. So meaning that this policy is used to configure the maximum password age of the managed local administrator account. If not specified, this setting will default to 30 days. This setting has a minimum allowed value for 1 day, when backing the passwords to the on-premises Active Directory, and 7 days when backing the password to Azure. This setting has a maximum allowed value of 365 days. So because I have configured the backup directory as Azure Active Directory, so I'm going to configure it, and the minimum is 7 days I have to configure it. And the next is the administrator account name. So if you want to configure it, I can configure it, and I have already configured the administrative account as labs, so I'm going to provide the name labs. Now next option is the password complexity. So we have multiple options like large letters plus small letters, large letters plus small letters plus numbers, large letters, small letters plus numbers plus special characters. So I'm going to configure the very complex one. And then password length, we have to configure it. So by default it is 14, but you can configure up to 64 characters. Now the next option is the post authentication action, meaning that when someone is using that password to log in on the device, what is the action Intune have to take after login. So we have three options: reset password, and upon expiry of the grace period, the managed account password will be reset. Second one is the reset the password and lock off the managed account. Upon expiry of grace period, the managed account password will be reset, and any interactive logon session using the managed account will be terminated. And the third one is the reset the password and reboot. Upon the expiry of grace period, the managed account password will be reset and the managed account will be immediately rebooted. So I am going to use very first option, but based on your requirement you can choose second and third option also. Next setting is to configure the post authentication reset delay, meaning that using this setting we have to specify the time in hour to wait after an authentication before executing the specified post authentication action. If we are not specifying this setting, then the by default is 24 hours. This setting has a allowed value of 0 hours. So if we configure the 0 hour, then it is going to disable all the post authentication action, and the setting has a maximum allowed value of 24 hours. So for now I am going to configure this for 6 hours, and then click on next and then next, and then we have to assign this policy to the required devices. For now I am going to add the specific group called LAPS. Then I am going to click select and then click on next and then click on next, and now the LAPS policy is also created. Now after some time we can see that LAPS policy is already applied on the device and is showing as succeeded, and we can see that it's applied on the device Win11. Let me see if the password is stored. To do this we have to go to the devices, then we have to go to the Windows, then select the Windows 11 device, and within monitor we can see that we have local admin password, and click on that. Now we can see that we have a local admin password stored in Intune, and this is the last password rotation time and date, and this is the next password rotation time and date. We can click on show local admin password. Now we can see that the account name is labs, and this is the SSID of that labs, and then we can see the password also. We can copy it. Let me save it in notepad, and we can also see that the last password rotation date and time and the next password rotation date and time. We can also see the password in Azure directory. So to do this we have to go to the Azure directory, and within Azure directory we have to go to the devices, and within devices we have to go to the local administrator password recovery, and we can see the details of both the device on which we have configured the local admin password, and we can see the same thing here also. Now let's see how we can validate whether LAPS is applied on the device or not. So to do this we have to go to the device, and then first thing we have to check the registry. So I'm going to open the registry, and within registry we have to go to HKLM, and within that we have to go to the software and then Microsoft, and then we have to go to the policy, and within policy we can see that we have a folder called labs, and whatever we configured in the labs policy, we are able to do the same thing. Backup directory 1, password age days 7, password complexity is 4, password length is 14, post authentication action is 1, and the post authentication reset delay is 6 hours. We can also verify under event that labs is properly configured and the information is stored in the Active Directory or Azure Active Directory. So to do this, we have to go to the application and service logs, and within that we have to go to the Microsoft, and under Microsoft we have to go to Windows, and then we have to go to the labs, and within that open the operational event viewer logs, and we can find the information in the event viewer. Most importantly, event viewer 10022 is telling us whether the password is stored or backed up in Azure Directory or Active Directory or not. So we can see that here the current lab policy is configured as per the policy source is CSP, backup directory Azure Active Directory, and local admin's password name is labs, password age is 7, and password complexity is 4, password length is 14, post authentication grace period in hours is 6, post authentication action is 1. If you are not able to see this event 10022, meaning that the password is not stored in Azure Directory, and to initiate the or to speed up the policy processing, what you can do, you can open the PowerShell as an administrator, and you can run a command called Invoke LAPS policy processing and initiate the command, and it is going to speed up the policy. Now we can say that we have some more event populated. All are showing some information like event ID 10016 is showing that manage account password does not need to be updated at this time. And if we go to this, labs is processing the current policy in response to an administrator request, and then labs is configured to backup the password policy in Azure Direct. So we can track all the information in event viewer logs also, and in the registry we can see whatever things we configured in the Intune portal under labs policy. Now let me log off and log in with the labs account to see whether it is working or not. So I'm going to sign out, then I'm going to log in with labs account. So win11/laps and then password. Let me type the password. Now we can see that I'm able to log in with labs user account. If I'm opening the cmd command and type who am I can see that I am a local admin on Windows 11 and the account name is labs. Now let's see how we can manually rotate the local admin password. So by default, the local admin password is automatically rotated as per the labs policy we configured. So in our case, we configured the password expiration period is 7 days, meaning that after 7 days, the labs password will be expired and the new password will be given to the labs account. But we can also initiate a rotate local admin password. To do this, we have to select the machine on which we want to rotate the local admin password. Then we have to go to the 3 dots, and then we have to click on rotate local admin password, and then we have to click on yes. Now it is going to initiate a rotate local admin password action. After some time, we can see that action rotate local admin password status is changing from pending to completed, and then the password is automatically changed. So to speed up this process, I am going to restart the system. After some time, we can see that the local admin password for Windows 11 device is now changed. If we can click on show password, we can see the password is now changed. The old password starts with small r and the new password starts with V. We can also see the Windows lab events under Azure Audit logs, and to do this we have to go to the Azure portal, and within Azure portal we have to go to the devices, and under devices we have to go to the audit logs, and here we can see that the device registration service, and it's saying that the device recovered device local administrator password. update device local administrator password. So we can also track the Windows Labs event in Azure Audit logs. So that's all I want to show you, how to configure the Windows Labs using Intune, how to rotate the local admin password. I hope this is an informative video for you. Thank you very much for watching this video.